We are live here and we are doing the One Piece top 30 of 2023 so far. I'm going to give you guys my top 30 list. I obviously uploaded the previous video, but the audio was trash. So therefore we need to do a new rendition of it. So here we go. We're going to go right into it. Number 30 is Doflamingo. Honestly, Doflamingo has too much versatility. Although I believe that he gets out-strengthed and sped by people above him, I think his versatility is what makes him the 30 slot, especially when you compare him to like people like Ulti, where Luffy said he needed Gear 4. In essence, I believe that Ulti is physically stronger, but Doflamingo's IQ and his Devil Fruit lets him hold that spot at number 30. Number 29 is Lucci. Rob Lucci. Obviously, this is due to his showing of his awakening Zoan form, and him being in CP0 and being kind of, it looks like, the head member of it, outside of getting blind spotted by Stussy. I think Lucci with this awakening has put him above a lot of people and puts him at my 29. 28, Kuma. This is a personal thing. I feel like Kuma at this current stage, with the way that his Devil Fruit actually works, potential and capabilities, and considering he's still part of the Revolutionary Army, I feel like Kuma should be stronger than Doflamingo and Lucci, in my eyes, narratively speaking. And I think it makes the most sense for me personally. And due to showing, I feel like Kuma is always holding back. Which moves on to number 27, Yasop. Considering his position as a commander, it doesn't really make any sense for him to be any higher. 26, we have Sanji. Sanji obviously showing a really good showing against Queen. And obviously, I'm not sure. I want to say that Sanji was trying in that fight due to the fact that he passed out after the fact. Will we say it's because he hasn't gotten used to his body and he can obviously get stronger? Of course. But I don't know how we can say that he held back yet. He still passed out at the end. But I mean, I digress. It really wouldn't make a difference. Number 25, Marco. Marco was able to hold off King, excuse me, and his healing capabilities and his Devil Fruit really put him at a top of the food chain in terms of the commander level. There's just a couple things he's missing, and this is why he only ranks as 25. Above Marco is 24, King the Wildfire. King the Wildfire is 24 due to the fact that he's clearly invincible when that fire is on, and when he's not, he's pretty good at doing what he does. A lot of attack power. He's a Zoan once again. I don't think he's awakened to my knowledge, but his Zoan abilities made Zoro have a run for his money, and I think that's very important. Also, from this point onwards, everyone between 24 and 15 are a little interchangeable, and you can take it with a glass of salt, or a pinch of salt, or you can take it seriously. Hancock, 23. Boa Hancock, I believe, has, advanced Conqueror's coding, and due to the fact that narratively she hasn't been in the story, I feel like who Oda does not show is increasing in strength, because we have to show some form of difficulty. Now, what I will say is that the way that Blackbeard did her greasily, I don't think takes away from her showing, considering that Blackbeard has two of the most powerful devil fruits, and apparently is able to be a mystery in terms of combat to this very day. And then at number 22, I have Useless Kid. Eustace Kid. Kid is just, there's not a lot going for him. There's not a lot going for him, but what I can say is that with what he's shown, he's definitely shown to be above everyone below him. The rail gun, or was it the nail gun, his hockey showing, his devil fruit showing, his awakening, although he has Conqueror's hockey but not advanced Conqueror's coding, I think that's where he lacks. So I think he can outstrength someone like Boa with his devil fruit awakening. But that's personal for me, I think. And above him, I have Silver's Rayleigh. I always put respect in the old man trio, but the fact of the matter is Rayleigh's just not where he used to be. Even saying he couldn't beat someone like Blackbeard, or even when he was trying to fight Kizaru. I don't think Rayleigh is in a place where he can be put any higher. But don't get it twisted, he's still called the Dark King, so that's why Rayleigh is sitting at 21. Number 20 is Lucky Roo. I think this is the speedster of Red Hair Shanks' crew. I think that he has to be like that in terms of speed, and I feel like we're going to see a lot more of him. And I think he's second commander. And I think when you have red-haired Shanks in the picture, and considering that Shanks is the next, I would say, Yonko in showing, Lucky Roo has to be up there. He has to be a challenge for Sanji, for sure. Number 19 is Fujitora. Fujitora, honestly, has not really shown a lot for me to put him any higher, but I do know because he's an admiral, I start to put respect on him for being an admiral, and his showings against Doflamingo and Law and Dressrosa, and his fight with Sabo, and even the recent panels when he fought the Revolutionary Army. It's definitely, I could understand why he's up higher, and considering his ability to summon meteors, there's no reason for me to put Fujitora any lower. And this is going to be a hot take. Above Fujitora, number 18 is Sabo. Sabo right now, I believe, he's up there. He's up there, especially the Revolutionary Army and what he's been doing. I think there's no reason for Sabo to be any lower, especially narratively speaking. So for me, I would definitely say that Sabo is super powerful, considering he's tangled with the likes of Fujitora and Green Bull. In my opinion, Sabo and a few good men did pull up. And granted, I admit that there is a nerf that the admirals get because they're AoE. However, what I won't say is that they shouldn't have a weaker defense either. If I can't use all my abilities in a certain given area, that's fine. But I still should be able to have the hockey or the defensive body enough to not get harmed, which was not the case. So it really makes me want to put Sabo with his Devil Fruit abilities and capabilities, mind you, and the rest of his skill set above Fujitora. Now, above Sabo, this is going to sound a little interesting, but I have Yamato. I have Yamato above Sabo because of her showing against Kaido and having the advanced comp. I think the showing that we showed Yamato doesn't make sense for her to be weak by that much, considering she was able to hold Kaido off for a good amount, mind you. And her Devil Fruit, I'm assuming, is awakened, and it's a Zoan, and it's a mythical Zoan at that. So I think in terms of what she has in her skill set on paper, there's no reason for her to be lower. However, due to the people above them narratively, and I think literally, she only goes so far. Number 16 is Shiryu the Rain. I believe Shiryu is Zoro's biggest obstacle. I believe that this is where, and you can consider this headcanon, where I believe Zoro is going to be able to cut nothing. I think Mihawk is known for cutting anything, and I want Zoro to be known for cutting nothing. Cutting something that's invisible, cutting something that's not there, or being able to cut anything. I mean, not anything, but being able to cut the absence of, I guess would be a better term. And so I think Shiryu should be, at this point, below Zoro until further notice. And number 15, I have a tie here, and it's Zoro and Law. Law has shown so much, and the stamina issue is not that much of an issue, and there's definitely, I don't think anyone below Law is surviving his top move. I don't see it. If someone sees that Law is surviving, not Law, if anyone below him in this list is surviving his Shock Willie, or the sword that he gave Big Mom that pushed her through the bottom of Onigashima, cap. Cap. And then there's too many abilities that Law has. And yes, stamina is a big issue for Law, but at the same time, you have to understand that Law is not in a place right now where stamina is the biggest hindrance. He was boxing the whole time while Luffy was knocked out on the rooftop with Kaido, then went in to fight Big Mom, and then he went to fight Blackbeard right after the fact. I mean, granted, he got the heal, But Law is definitely up there. He has a better understanding of hockey, even able to negate Dog Q's double fruit abilities because of his hockey usage. And the same thing can be said for Zoro. Zoro being able to use advanced conk and the way that he cut into King the Wildfire. The strength of Zoro alone is something that keeps him next to Law. And considering he was able to deflect Big Mom and Kaido's attack, he deserves this number 15 slot. And that's all I have to say about that. Number 14, Sengoku. Um, Unpopular opinion, I think Sengoku is the one who leads, who kind of anchors Garp a little bit. I feel like Garp excels in physical strength to the point where I feel like Sengoku is the one who kind of let Garp down. I don't see Sengoku being equal in strength to Garp back in his prime. And I don't see it being such a big gap. I don't think it's like obnoxiously big, but I do think Sengoku is powerful, considering his showing in Marineford, the way he bodied the Blackbeard pirates with his mythical Zoan fruit. He has the capabilities to be there. Now, without having advanced conquerors, I'm going to assume he does, or maybe I shouldn't due to that fact, but I think it doesn't, him not having advanced conquerors does not take away from the fact that he was able to palm a whole entire crew. And back in the day, Sengoku was, getting up there with Garp. He was getting up there with Roger. Now, I think that Garp wins against Sengoku, but I don't think it's by a ginormous margin. Number 13, Green Bull. I put Green Bull above Sengoku because I feel like Green Bull with his AoE and the fact that he's in his youth, I don't think is losing to Sengoku or anyone below him. Obviously, he's not losing to King. Obviously, he's not using the Marco. Sanji, Usopp, Yamato, he already tried and ran up on Wano, and there wasn't a lot that anyone else was doing against him. And for that reason, Green Bull sits at number 14. Well, 13, actually, excuse me. Unpopular opinion, number 12, Kizaru. I think Kizaru is where he needs to be. I don't see him being stronger than Kuzan. I don't see him being stronger than anyone above the list. And in terms of his character, I don't think Kizaru is that strong. I think that he's fast, but I think that's all he has going for him, and his personality doesn't allow him to rise higher. Number 11, Garp the Fist. Garp the Fist, I mean, it's self-explanatory. The Galaxy Impact, come on now. And then the Big Bang Fist. Garp in his old age is not as strong as he used to be. I am not saying that he is in his prime or that he can topple anyone whatsoever, but what I am saying is that Garp has one of the strongest hockey showings that we've seen so far outside of a few people, and that's literally Luffy, Shanks, and Kaido, and probably Big Mom. Above Garp, we have number 10, Aokiji Kuzan. Kuzan, I believe, will beat Garp in this fight to show his allegiance to Blackbeard. And I think due to Garp's old age and Kuzan being able to, I guess, stalemate almost Akainu. Now, we don't know if it was fabricated and they actually didn't fight, but I would like to think that in order to stick to the story, they did in fact fight, and it took 3 days to find the winner. So I think in that lets me know that Kuzan is definitely a cut above the rest. Now, number 9 is Ben Beckman. Uh, I think Ben Beckman is comparable to Shanks. Do I think he's as strong as Shanks? Absolutely not. However, I will say that he's comparable and one of the smartest people in the verse as a whole. And he's the right hand man of Shanks. And I think when you're the right hand man of Shanks, you got to be pulling something. You have to be extraordinary at the very least. And number 8, I have Big Mom. Big Mom has a lot of good showings. The durability and the devil fruit abilities she displays, and the advanced conk and the conqueror's hockey. Big Mom she just has it all. The whole 9 yards, and considering she's a Yonko, there's no reason to put her any lower besides her intelligence. And the fact that Law and Kid was able to beat her, so I think this is as high as she can go. Number 7, Akainu. Long story short, Mr. Magma Man, he's a cool dude. We've seen his showing against Old Whitebeard, and due to the fact he's the Grand Fleet Admiral, I do believe that he's up there. My only problem is that he's only an admiral at best, so he can be high admiral level, and he still went against Kuzan and fought for 3 days. He won eventually, but considering it wasn't that big of a gap, I don't think he has what it takes to beat the people above him. And in addition, I feel like Akainu's Devil Fruit being the most offensive Devil Fruit power in the verse besides Blackbeard, I think the Magma will take a hurting to anyone below him. I think anyone below him will be donuts. Minus Big Mom, I don't think would be a complete donut. Number 6, Luffy. Um, y'all can disagree with this, but I believe that not two Yonkos, two Admirals equal a Yonko, including Akainu. So I think that with that in mind, even if it was a fresh fight between Kaido and Luffy, I think Kaido will take it. But I would say high to extreme diff. Perhaps Kaido will take it. I mean, I'm leaning towards the low ball, on the high ball actually, semi mid diff, and on the low ball I believe would be high extreme. I just think the Bajrang gun is the strongest move we've seen in the verse so far. And I don't see Akainu surviving it, especially when Kaido was in the magma form when he tried to go against Luffy in Gear 5. I don't see a Yonko equaling an Admiral, and for that logic alone, I cannot put Akainu any higher. Number 5, I have Blackbeard, and that is for simply plot armor. Blackbeard has definitely shown to have two of the strongest abilities in the verse, and he's very dangerous. Every time Blackbeard gets in a fight, we never see how it ends, we only see how it starts. And I think that's very important to keep in mind that there's a reason why Oda is not allowing us to see him fight, and in addition was able to catch Shanks off guard. So I think it's very important that we don't sleep on Blackbeard. And narratively speaking, I put him above Luffy because I don't see Luffy fighting the Darkness Fruit and the Quake Fruit and winning. I don't see it. Gear 5 we can always say is like Toon Force, but he still took damage, and therefore I cannot say he's just non-stop invincible. Number 4, I have Mihawk. I think Mihawk is comparable to Shanks. Now, one of the problems I have with Mihawk is his showing by Oda, but Oda has his own reasons, I hope, because him clashing with Vista and the way that Luffy ate a slash from him, Mihawk's showing has just not been the greatest. And it's narratively what takes away from him, but he also is the strongest swordsman. But at the same time, he's the strongest swordsman right now. I think there are people who are stronger than him that utilize swords, but yet, Whitebeard had the strongest man alive title, but when we saw him, he was hooked up on dialysis basically. So I think titles can be misleading, and I think they can be kind of like paying homage to, in a sense, because although I do think Mihawk is the greatest swordsman, when it comes to skill, I don't think he's a better swordsman than Shanks when it comes to power and hockey. Number 3 is Kaido. Uh, Number 1, when you're in a 1v1, always bet on Kaido. You never doubt the man. The Dragon Devil Fruit is OP. The Blast Breath, the Hybrid, the Thunder Bagawa, the 3 attacks, the Flame Dragon attack. There's Kaido has too much. The durability, the Advanced Conquerors, the Conqueror's Haki. He just has too much. He has too much. He's been caught by the government so many times just to get something to eat. So I refuse to believe that Kaido is any weaker than anyone below him. Number 2 is speculatory. I have Dragon, Monkey D. Dragon. I feel like as the most wanted man alive that happens to be a pacifist, there has to be some weight to what you're doing. I mean, yes, we can take it as he probably has a bunch of knowledge, but I don't think that's just it. Because if that was the case, the same way they go after Robin would be the same way they go after Dragon. And I don't think narratively it's the same, or maybe we just haven't been shown as such. And for that reason, I think Dragon sits only below Shanks in terms of being the head of an important figure that is currently going against the government, which is the Revolutionary Army. Now, there are some honorable mentions I want to mention before I get to Shanks, and that would be Karasu, Ulti, Cracker, Lindbergh, and these are just a bunch of people who I feel like should have made the list at number 30, in my opinion. I really don't see them being higher than anyone below on the list. And for that reason, we're going to move on to number one, which is, you guessed it, Red Hair Shanks. I mean, Shanks one-shotted Kid and Killer, the Future Sight, the Hockey, the Conquerors, Advanced Conquerors coding, the Observation Hockey. It's Shanks is just, he's got it all. And for that reason, he will remain at number one. So with that being said, this concludes the top 30. Hope you guys tune in. Keep up for the next video. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but stay tuned. TVG Hero signing off.